5 minutes even more
Let's go
important.
guys, game pertama Argentina versus Uzbekistan.
First blood as we enter the land of darkness.
Kita
Argentina
lihat
against
aja guys
Uzbekistan
ya.
in this lower bracket. Game 1, Argentina on the blue side, Uzbekistan on red.
Something that we do have to look out for is really how they're going to manage the waves earlier on, because when it comes to this double fighter setup here, I'm really looking at Argentina being the first to have a 5-person rotation towards the first turtle and start to snowball from there.
Yeah.
Compared to the Harif, he might want to stay in lane just a little bit longer.
You know what? Something that I feel like it's a blessing in disguise for Uzbekistan. Because of the last 2 picks of Argentina, they completely dodged a CC Baxia matchup, which I felt like is very disadvantageous. But still, mid lane gang early on, first blood going over to Argentina as they take out Yasia, and that is the aggression that we want to see.
That is beautiful coming in from Argentina. So what they did was that they froze the lane, making it so that Yasha, if one gets stacks, wants to get a farm, has to move up front. And as a Sicilian, you don't have a dash, you don't have a movement speed increase, allowing for that gank to happen. So that was clever coming in from Naval, making sure that she controls the minion wave so that Yasha is basically, free for a gank.
And that's the strength of the Dusin that we talked about. And it also reveals a bit of that weakness of Hilda. Sure, she's pretty good at dealing with your man-to-man, but if you're dealing with Dusin Grok, then suddenly the tables turn, right? You cannot get close. They alter your movement forcefully, and with the turtle spawning and the first blood early on going to Miyuki, Argentina should have free control over the objective, and make it worse, Miss is just making Hinata's life miserable in this XP lane. Even if right now she has a turtle persona, she just does not have the health to participate.
Yeah, but look at that. So Defly is going to see in the ball as well as Miz, but they're just going to push her wave. Miyuki gets the turtle for free, and looks like Argentina, they want more.
They're going to go in, but it's just a level 2 Hilda. She hits level 3, but it really doesn't matter. Miyuki picks up a second body.
I would say Uzbekistan, the mistake was in early. Well, number one, yes, the manipulation of the minion wave made it so that they were opt for a gank. And look at this, Miz is slowing down the purple buff take here, and
we got it. They got it with a tectonic charge. What a beautiful movement from the support, the Roma of Argentina. Miz will give up her life. Surely, right? Hinata bumps into her, finally picks up the kill, but it took a 5-man gang squad from Uzbekistan to make that happen.
That was so worth it. You slow down Swilly on this Yisun Shin. You slow down everyone's farm by forcing them to chase after Grog. The Grog gets the purple buff.
That's great. That is.
That's a buy 1 free 3, Husky.
It's buy 1 free 5.
Free 5.
That's worth it.
Now that's a bargain.
Put it on your coupon. You're gonna get some pretty decent offer. Something that Uzbekistan needs to realize, if they haven't yet, is that this comp might struggle, or maybe they are struggling now, but eventually they're gonna start hurting. And now, that falls onto Yasia.
We're looking at the gold lane here. Ellis might be in trouble just a bit, but look at this Neo. 1v1 Hinata.
Okay, he's gonna try and power through this with the Revitalize. Bring in some help. There's the Mountain Shocker, Turtle Bolt in hand, Purify, forced out, and now the Crash. They juggle it pretty good, and they find the punish.
Yeah, looks like down bot, looks like Ellis has not been taken down, and this is good coming in from Uzbekistan, because what they need to do here, Husky, is that they gotta give room for Hinata as well as Sug Diffly to get some level, because they're the front lines. If the front line is not there, it's gonna be very difficult for especially Yisun Shin and the Sicilian to do work. If they get bursted down so fast, they're not going to have any team fight.
Worst case scenario, just let Yasia stack a bad impact, right? Eventually she's going to get enough stacks to really hurt. Suctify with the axe jump onto the bow. Get the Sanguine Claws. Miyuki caught in it, has to place her to safety. As Neo jumps in, Ilias chases the jungler down. Miyuki is out of the fight. Vegas gets popped by Rizza. He tries to hop on the Yasia, who gets out, but Ilias just found a double kill in the backline, and now she is isolated. Good Earth on Rampart into a mighty swing. Ilias tries to dash away with the enhanced attack. The Chrono Dash doesn't buy enough distance, as eventually Rizza picks up that kill.
We see the potential here coming in from Uzbekistan, where Ilias has shown that able to carry, dealing damage to the proper targets, but that's going to be a problem here for both teams, because we see a very split team fight.
But if Argentina tunnel visions and give Ellis those opportunities, that is good news for her, right? I mean, she did went down, but 2 kills earlier on, you sort of negate whatever lead that Argentina has gotten in the early game. They are still 2K ahead. They got both turtles. But all things considered, Uzbekistan has been able to weather the storm. 3 assists for Yasia. Definitely got a couple of bad impact stacks from that skirmish too.
Yeah, but again, this is just going to give a lot of pressure to the damage dealers here because, again, they're very strong, but very susceptible to getting punished.
Yeah.
Because, again, Sicilian doesn't have a lot of ways to protect himself. And IESF, once the Zaman Force is down, you have no sustain, you have just one dash every 2.5 seconds.
Slowly,
makes it so that there's more than enough time for you to get bursted down. Speaking of which, another rotation towards IESF.
Still has to purify, so should be safe. And we saw the starting site being purchased as well. Great Mountain Shocker. So you see that 4-man gang squad in the bottom lane, allowing Uzbekistan to climb around. And Yasia, though, has to be careful of that pathing. Shouldn't really walk there. Doesn't have to flicker for another 30 seconds. She is most likely going to go down, lifted up into her death. And that is kind of a fatal mistake from Uzbekistan. The pathing was too dangerous, and they lose Soklify too.
Yeah, that was very honest, considering that you know the rotation. But hold on, Hinata goes in, takes a lot of damage. It looks like he's going to get taken down by Miyuki, and now as well as they're in between 3 members, and it's going to get taken down by Neo. Uzbekistan, they're going in for the fight when they really shouldn't.
And they try and put it onto Alice's hand, and she's going to purify out of that. The sole survivor of the earlier team fight. Yasia flickers, doesn't get the bad impact, needs one more. Miyuki plays around the minimum range of the bad impact, and that is good enough. Miyuki is out of the bow, gets jumped out by Soklify, and they just did not have the damage. Soklify tried to chase out the bow, but couldn't find a finisher, and ends up losing her life. Argentina gets away with daylight takedowns.
Yeah, right now Uzbekistan needs to calm down a little bit because they're playing with a lot of, I would say, excitement here because they're going in for fights when you're not ready just yet because you got to play as a team here, and Argentina is playing as a team, punishing anyone from Uzbekistan that is overextending. There's a lot of overextensions here. They got to get some farm first, get the levels, get maybe 2 items from IESF, and then see what you can do from there. No, you need 3 from IESF.
And then you can start cutting your losses because Alice is going to get run down by Neo. Neo just got the Oracle too. Oh boy, here comes the Grok. Alice somehow still gets out, thankfully. I thought Miss would permit the tectonic charge, but it's okay. They still walk away with the 3rd and final turtle of the game. Bottom tier 1 goes down. Uzbekistan are in a very tough spot, 5k behind.
Yeah, you can see here the Eastern Shin trying to get the purple buff, able to get one, but still only level 10 here is still pretty strong in the grand scheme of things. Around 5,000 gold lead here for Argentina. Miyuki now having that War Axe, making it so that they can fight for quite a while here. And the damage is there coming in from IESF. It's just that the front line is not there. Feather of Heaven has been purchased. Uzbekistan, they should use the fact that they have a Sicilian and just protect the turrets, right?
Yeah.
Don't go for the fights just yet. You can be stronger later.
I mean, even just now, we saw that Yasia's bad impact actually does some decent damage. And now just have to keep that in mind. Protect the Sicilian. I mean, you are getting massive stacks from these kind of pokes. You're not getting takedowns, that's for sure, but at least you're defending your structures, you're starting the game, but you're also helping yourself scale later into the game. Hinata will be forced to use the Revitalize. Tectonic charge only on the backside. Hinata brought back, but should be able to get out of this. Not a problem there. So Uzbekistan definitely fine-tuning the approach, and they are holding up well so far.
Although I do have to say, Hinata kind of made a small mistake there where when she was retreating, she kind of retreated towards IESF, and that gave Riza an idea that someone is waiting there. But IESF was able to recall in time. That was almost a costly mistake because right now they just need to reset because losing 5,000 is pretty bad. But you can make things happen, but Hinata gets caught again. I don't think that's how you're going to make it happen.
Yeah, and with Hinata down, Soklify is not going to be able to do too much, so we have to flicker to safety. Argentina want to continue to chase though. They don't have the tectonic charge. Soklify gets lifted up, and that is the Sky Piercer for Navao doing work. Alice still gets chased down. Riza on top of her as the Synchro Fissure is starting to hurt from Alice. They will have to use the Crimson Beacon to disengage from Navao, and I don't think you want to be there as a YSS, so Uzbekistan calls it off.
Yeah, and the Lord has been spawned here, and I feel like at 10 minutes, the Lord shouldn't be that big of a problem considering that you do have a Sicilian, Yusin as well as a Hive. So it's fine for you to let this one go. It's just that you have to have this mindset. We're just going to turtle up for a while, make sure that no one dies in the next engage. And if someone has to die, it just has to be a front line, right? At this point, the Hilda 0-4-1 is not giving much to the team, just being a mid-shield. So, you know, if anyone has to be sacrificed, it has to be her.
I think the internal monologue is just we'll eventually outskill them.
Exactly.
We will eventually do more damage, and then we'll eventually be able to overpower them. Now, the only resource that Uzbekistan really needs is time.
Yep.
And if they can survive this first war without losing an inhibitor, I think that's more than enough. In fact, it might even get more. Miss use the Tectonic Charge and the Flicker. That is great.
That is amazing. Neo jumps in all alone, taking a bit of damage, but still it's fine because Argentina, this is not the easiest comp for you to siege those minions. There's really not enough range.
Yep.
The longest range is Naval, and Jushin is not known to take down turrets fast, so this is doable, right? This is defendable.
Very defendable.
This is geekable.
Very, very geekable. I mean, they are trying to stall out the Lord in the bottom lane, and the Lord still gets the crash in. Oh, Neo actually, with the help of Naval, finds a takedown. That's on the Alice. That's not the person that you want to lose. Tectonic that comes in, and it's going to be a two-man knockup. Miss, getting the setup done. Yasia getting ran down by Neo, but they were able to keep Yasia alive. Bad impact are starting to hurt, but Stocklify is gone. 3 members of Uzbekistan in the grave. But thankfully, Argentina does not have the resources to end the game, so Uzbekistan will keep on playing.
But still, around 11 minutes with almost 9,000 goal lead, it's a good position for Argentina here, especially looking at the damage coming in from Neo as well as Miyuki. We're looking at itemization here. Neo is, the only offensive item is that Enchanted Talisman, but that does mean that you can keep generating those shields, making it almost impossible for Uzbekistan to actually get the kill. And looking at the Suyo already investing in some defense after having the Hunter Strike, the War Axe, as well as the Malefic Roar, makes it so that Uzbekistan, their front line is already non-existent.
Yep.
More so now that there's a lot of penetration on Argentina.
Makes it very, very hard to itemize against too. Though again, if there's any consolation prize, Yasia will be the person that can turn this around. Alongside Illis, definitely harder for the Harry to maneuver around Argentina in those team fights, even with the Purify, just because you have a Dusin on you. Like Dusin's, the Lantern Flare, very hard to time your Purify around it, right? If she lifts you up, it's lights out, but if you use it before she lifts you up, you cancel all the previous stacks, but you also open yourself up for harder crowd control. So it's definitely a fine line that they have to tread on. The second Lord spawning in 10 seconds, Argentina will be looking for the coup de grace.
I would say one of the troubles for Uzbekistan here is target locking, because the targets for Argentina is actually quite difficult to get on, especially when you have that Grok, where getting Miyuki is difficult. Suyo has so many dashes. It's disgusting after the buff to the cooldowns.
Yep.
And then if you're trying to get onto Naval, Jushin is not the easiest mage to heal, and then having a Grok there to protect as well. That's, I would say, the biggest problem for Uzbekistan is just that they want their targets to stand still for long enough that Yasha and Alice is able to deal enough damage. Well, good news, Holy Crystal has been completed by Harif, so they should have damage at this point.
Honestly, that looked pretty scary because Yasia was trying to almost face check the bush. Some rookie mistakes that could cost the game at this point. Good dodge and talk about the Sanguine Claws. They get the Turbo, Neo has to Purify out, they crash it! And that is a shutdown. Very needed. The YSS might end up going down though. It's time to cut your losses as they lose their jungler. And the Void with Tectonic Charge, great flicker from Yasia to avoid that. And now they will try to defend the base. Hinata able to escape. And this Sicilian is starting to hit hard.
Yeah, but again, they got to be careful as well. Trading 1-for-1 at this stage is honestly worth it, but you got to be careful because Yasha now does not have that flicker and looks like getting caught again.
And they don't have the Tectonic Charge though. They get a mighty swing, but it's Ellis and Miss. The core of Uzbekistan trying to really hold the fort. Naval had to flicker the safety as Rizza deals with the mid inhibitor, tries to go for the end game, but the Lord has just gone down. Yasia trying to save it. Rizza will be taken down. Uzbekistan holds the fort again.
And they're just getting stronger here, Husky, because Alice now has the penetration with the Divine Glaive, and Yasha with that Wishing a Lantern makes it so that now your front line will actually die getting hit by Uzbekistan. That was an amazing way for them to defend, but also Argentina. This is where you see the weakness of this kind of draft. You don't have a lot of range. You don't have a good way to siege. You just got to win a clean team fight, and then let the minions go in, and then take your time taking down the base.
And we know the keys to victory. Miss, if he gets a Tectonic Charge onto Yasia, that is going to be lights out, right? But Yasia played that perfectly, the whole sequence, able to preemptively flicker away from an incoming tectonic charge, save herself, and then defend the base alongside Ellis. I think Argentina now needs to realize that whatever goalie they have, sure, the stats say that they're 5,000 ahead, but it honestly does not matter at this point. The core members of Uzbekistan are already online. It is as good as even. So Argentina now is back to square one. They've done all the heavy lifting, barring one low health inhibitor in the top lane. Let's see if they can finish the job.
I would say at this point, Argentina might have to consider let one person do the hero play, right? Either Neil or Riza go straight onto Yasha and use anything that you can just to make sure that the Sicilian is no longer in the fight, and then proceed forward, because I feel like that's the biggest problem. If the Sicilian is no longer there, trading 1-for-1 for your fighter for that mage,
yep,
that's gonna be enough, because Miyuki can just sweep up everyone else.
And Neo is not immortal anymore. We saw how she got picked off earlier on. Uzbekistan half the damage to cut through this Esmeralda, and that also puts the Baxia's passive into the picture too. Reduction on healing and shield.
Oh.
Let's see if Miz can make it happen for the team. They used the Crimson Beacon very early on as a zoning tool, just so that they could secure the third Lord of the game, and I think that is good enough. They still are in control of the game, and this third Lord might just be what they need to end it.
Yeah, but again, like, how many times has Yasha been caught by the Earthen Rampant? Right, at that point, it's good that Miyuki was not there, focusing on the Lord, and they were just on zoning duty, right? Not actually trying to get the kill. That was actually a good opportunity for them to get the kill.
Dude, yeah, you have a Flicker Tectonic Charge that's probably Sicilian gone. Ooh, Soglify sees this. That's a very, very dangerous spot to be in. It's safe to say that the last inhibitor is going to go down, and it's not going to be an easy defense. Even with Harif and Sicilian, no flicker on Yasia for 70 seconds. They use the Mount Chocolate first, so they get vision. Hinata early revitalize. Tectonic Charge only hits on the one, but it's the YSS. And that is one of the cores down already. Argentina try to brute force through. They find that it's double kill from Navao, and the job is done. Miyuki picks up the third, and Yasia can't do it alone. Argentina scores the first point in this lower bracket.
It was not an easy victory, but it was
Argentina,
quite
bro.
decisive. Having a very good early game, transitioning into the mid, and then sure, some hiccups in the late when the Sicilian starts to become a problem, but still Argentina got game number 1.
Setelah kita lanjut aja buat game yang kedua guys ya.